back to 4th and 3 Dudes. Here we are for episode 2. I know you probably didn't think it was actually going to happen. We weren't sure it was either. But to make things easier, Cord actually went ahead and traveled down to St. Mary's, Georgia, and got into Bernie's living room. So this whole thing is going to be a little bit easier today. So
via satellite. Proof.
See, there he is. So, okay, first of all, how's your week going, Bernie? How are you doing so far?
Lots of rain down here. It's rained every day. I think since Tropical Storm Debbie, we've had probably 20 inches of rain. But, it hasn't dampened my spirits, unlike a newbie.
Oh, jeez. I can't even see out of the windshield.
Oh, my goodness. What were you caught in was it raining down there now? You caught in that, Cord, when you were doing that work down in Jacksonville?
Well, today... Not yesterday, though, but I was inside, but, driving in my little Muppet car.
Yeah, here is raining. It's almost raining sideways, actually.
Yeah, it's like 81 and rainy, so it's not refreshing. It's like, it makes me feel moist all over.
Okay, well, let's not get into that. But
moving forward.
Speaking of moist, I mean, I'm going ahead and I've already started, I pre-gamed with my Creature Comforts beer. Lomo. It was a nice West Coast Pale Ale, and now I've moved on to
empty
Wild Leap's Side Bay.
Oh, okay.
Good what stuff. Is Side Bay?
It's one of their IPAs. It's a double IPA actually with Nelson Sauvin hops. Quite tasty. I like Alpha Extraction a little bit better, but anyway, what y'all drinking?
This is called a Maker's and Ginger Ale, and Cord has one as well.
Mine was free though.
All right. Well, now that we got that out of the way. All right, Cord, you want to go and start us off with a Beaver update? How did the Beavers do this past weekend, baby?
Oh my gosh, they won. Played Idaho State.
Beat the Not Vandals.
Yeah, they didn't cover, but it was frustrating first half. They got smoked in the secondary, 140 yards. So we got to figure that out. But they made their adjustments, and they started running the ball. We had two running backs. Both had 150 yards each. And plus a third running back from Texas is supposed to be all lights out. They averaged like 8 yards a carry, something crazy like that. And Damian Martinez from Miami only had 65 yards.
So I know the head coach is new. Is the whole coaching staff new?
He's the old linebacker coach.
Oh, okay. They promoted
previously, and he played there.
Okay, good.
How were you able to watch that game this weekend, man?
What's that?
How were you even able to watch that game?
Oh, well, it's pretty much in every household in the whole US of A on the CW. So you might want to turn it there. It's right up at the Dukes of Hazzard.
Keep scrolling down your dial. Yeah, you'll find it.
No, just type in CW.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, they have America's Conference. They have the Wazoo game at 3:30, and then the Beaver game at 6:30.
Is that pretty much how it's going to be all year?
Or vice versa?
No. It's not on CW every week. It's on like 6 or 7 weeks out of the year.
No,
sometimes the CW has to go more girls.
Well, they got contracts. Yeah, Wazoo, that quarterback, John Mateer. Mm-hmm. He was tearing it up.
Who'd they play?
They played someone that only scored 30 points on him, but he dropped 70 on him.
Wow.
Yeah, they did put up a lot of points this weekend. So.
Oh man, I hope we don't play him.
Don't you play him like the next 6 games?
Yeah, he was slaying them.
Nice.
Yeah, they look good. I mean, Pullman never looks good, but he looked good. They got a decent team, and we are America's Conference, and we are the only undefeated conference in the whole US of A.
Well, that is probably one of the only conference that could probably actually say that. So, well, congratulations, hey! But you did go up as safety, man. What's up with that?
Yeah, what's that give us safety?
Oh, first game jitters. We were putting from the 20, and we got a rugby Australian punter type guy and did the shift, and then the 3 guys in front did the shift, and when the ball went through, it hit one of their arms and
wrong way.
Yeah, we gave them a couple.
Okay.
But it worked out in the second half. The second half, they just rolled. It was, like when we played Oregon and they ran like 10 times in a row and couldn't stop us.
Nice.
Oh, speaking of Oregon, How did they do?
Slow start.
Good thing that game was blacked out.
They weren't on the CW.
Oh my gosh! You see Dan's presser?
No.
They asked him, "What'd you say in the locker room?" Oh, that's private. You're not going to tell us? No.
Confidential.
Oh my goodness.
I bet old Uncle Phil's pissed. He's not getting his money's worth.
Go be Ducks.
Oh, that was so good.
Speaking of good starts, how about them Dogs and how they showed up on Saturday morning or Saturday in Atlanta?
Pretty good. Looked really good.
Second half.
Second half. So yeah, there's
I was a little nervous first half.
slow start. I wasn't nervous,
That same
you know, but because they were having trouble moving the ball, but yeah, the defense still looked, you know, like, and that was probably my biggest concern was the defense, and they looked really good all 4 quarters. So, so yeah, pretty happy with. Have to be happy with that win. You know, a top matchup in a neutral environment. He has a good start to the season.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I think a lot of what I saw in the first half, I think, was really setting up things that worked in the second half. I guess my biggest concern in the first half was Robinson or Branson being a little bit tentative, I think, when he was running. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again, it's once we got in the second half, we made some adjustments, and then Frazier. Goodness.
Yeah, Frazier.
Just took over. And you're right about those. A lot of those screens in the first half. Kept looking to my ladies I was watching with. It's like, it's just all a setup. We're playing chess, not checkers. It's going to be good. And then our coaches made adjustments in the second half that Clemson just couldn't keep up with. So,
That's the third load.
Is everything okay
You hear that?
in St. Mary's? I think y'all got somebody like coming behind y'all.
he is
Yeah.
fascinated by the ice machine.
We got Cooper.
I can't keep him focused.
I'm going to ask for one for Christmas.
Goodness.
But yeah, I really thought what really stood out was the fact that, you know, Dabo does not do the transfer portal. He started to dip into NIL, but Kirby out recruits him because Nate Frazier is someone they wanted, and our 2 transfer wide receivers both scored a touchdown, and I thought that was pretty telling.
You talking about Dabo?
Yeah, it has to be something that the Clemson fan base is pointing to as a
They got money.
they do. It's just his belief, and there's a time where I 100% agree with him, but things would move forward, and he's just not adjusting. But I'm pleased with the way Kirby manages a roster, and obviously that paid off for us on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, again, talking about those 2 transfers, I guess what it was, Colby Young came in from Miami.
Yeah.
He's the one who caught that first touchdown pass, and then it was London Humphreys from Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt came in and caught the next one. I mean, that was one of the things. I mean, I guess you got some Saturday studs, but I mean, again, Malachi Starks.
Absolutely. I mean, they moved him down to the star, a position that he doesn't play, and he was just lights out blitzing. And how many times we've seen him blitz? We've seen him a few times, but Saturday he was all in the backfield and then made that very reminiscent interception towards the end. So he's an absolute stud.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Nate Frazier had his 11 rushes, 83 yards, and got this touchdown. And then Jalen Walker, he's another one that's going to be a force along with Michael.
Yeah, I heard Kirby say that they need to trust him more. It sounds like they just haven't seen it in practice as much, but he said that he and Schumann need to trust him more in a game type situation because obviously he steps up.
Yeah. Now, I think I saw a quote from Kirby. He said,
running back.
That was a legal block.
Yeah.
When I played.
Cord has moved ahead in the show notes.
He is moving on. Yes.
Yeah, so Michael Williams is week to week. So what do you want to say, Cord, about that chop block?
It was legal. It was a good hit.
It was a good hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Football's a fraud.
Man, at least Michael's going to be week to week. I think we're going to probably hold him out this week so not to get him injured against Tennessee Tech. But yeah, no, I mean, the one thing that Kirby Smart talked about Walker and Michael playing together said we've got to get uncomfortable as coaches and use his skill set. I think Shu and the defensive staff have done a great job of finding ways that he can be successful. Mike Kell and him are both really good football players, and they need to be on the field. They don't need to share time. And that's a scary thing for opposing defenses.
It is, because we've seen Schumann's like he just implants information into his players' heads, and they just go out and execute. And I think that's what Kirby Smart's talking to there.
Yeah, but yeah, and then I guess one of the other things that impressed me was, again, Carson Beck, doing everything you need him to do, and then again spreading the ball around. Nine different receivers caught balls this weekend. It's one of those things you're able to bring in those transfer players, and they all know that the way the Georgia runs their offense, they're not going to be superstars, but in sense of getting 1,000-yard seasons, but it's going to actually put them in good position to move on to the NFL in the future.
Yeah. He looked exactly the way we expected him to. And the thing we were concerned with Dog fans was, his weapons. He didn't have Ladd. He didn't have, Bowers, but and Rara obviously dismissed. But that wide receiver room,
they're deep.
It's deep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Arian Smith showed up well.
Yeah.
But was this, you gonna say something, Cord?
Sounded like it.
Well, no, all their skill positions are deep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, especially
even with the running back sitting out, everything works out.
It works out. We got players to step up, and
is he coming back this weekend?
That's why. The point I was going to make is that's why you go to the transfer portal to plug in where you need to, and that's why you recruit the way that Kirby does. So
Florida State went to transfer portal, but things aren't working out.
Right.
So how does that work
for them? Well,
not very well.
Well, let's go back to when the playoffs were announced. Florida State, Georgia had the biggest arguments. Kirby rallied a team, and they, took care of business and won the Orange Bowl. And obviously, it's transferred into this season, whereas Norvell hasn't been able to duplicate that.
Have they dropped their lawsuit yet?
I don't know. I forgot about that.
Them and Clemson both.
Attorneys. Do what?
Them and Clemson both.
Right? Yeah, you're right.
But I think going to your question, what you said, Cord, with Florida State, I think it's more of the culture. It's one of those that we bring in people. Kirby is more selective about the people he brings in. He's not just trying to bring in mercenaries and that don't fit in with the style of play that you want to have your players, the way you want them to act. We've had a couple of misses in the portal. Again, like you said with Ra, he's gone, but he's just missed from the team. Other ones that have come in and made some different demands, and we moved on from them too. So if they're going to come in and work within the culture that Kirby's got, they've seen that they can do well with it. So
Florida State doesn't have that culture?
Obviously not.
Basically you're getting hired guns. Almost mercenaries coming in, getting paid.
Yeah.
And
but it's a balance. You can't have, like with Carson Beck, he's got some NIL deals, but Kirby caps it at a certain amount, and we have a leader at quarterback that shares with. If I'm a quarterback, I want to share with my offensive line. They're protecting me week to week, so you have to have that kind of leadership on the team, and that kind of, for lack of a better word, trickle down effect that everybody is in this together.
Well, I think that Jordan Travis at FSU, I think he was a leader, and then they had a culture back then, and they did really well. Not blaming any of the current players, but sometimes there's just not a mix in the locker room.
Yeah,
right. It's hard. You can't predict it until you're in the locker room. It's like, this ain't working out.
And now more than anything, because you got so many players leaving after 3 years. Or after 1 year, after 2 years. It used to be you played 3 years and either you went to an NFL or you played your senior season.
Right.
The best you had was a redshirt senior that had been there 5 years, and now that's just not the case. So,
or 10 years, like Bo Nix or I heard he's coming back to Oregon. They're not.
It was
not doing too well.
the Clemson receiver.
Yeah.
He was there for like 20.
He had all those season-ending injuries. Jeez.
So,
Well, no, that was the Miami receiver. The Miami's McCormick. He was their tight end.
yeah.
He's in his ninth season. He's in his 9th season now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his story, that was a pretty cool story. Speaking of Miami.
Yeah. My dad called me up at 5.
Ooh.
What?
His dad come on 5 years at
I thought you had another
Son, this is your
eligibility.
last semester.
But speaking of Miami and what they did to Florida this past weekend, getting into some of the other big games around the country.
Yeah, Florida is not a very good team. And I think a lot of people are elevating Miami probably a little bit farther than their station. We'll have to see how the ACC plays out, but Florida is not a good team.
Yeah.
Well, and neither Florida State. Finally, I don't see why they were ranked. Finally they're out. I'm sure they got players. I'm sure they got talent, but doesn't seem there's chemistry there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, again, that's still one of those things. I mean, the rankings, the preseason rankings are one of the more archaic things that I think skew a lot of stuff in the whole college football landscape anyway. That, I mean, if they could figure out a way to not rank teams and actually hold off a couple of weeks, everything would be a lot better. But people want the rankings.
They want the rankings.
Have you talked to Gene Shirtwear Cousin Bill?
No, I have not. I mean, I try to stay away from that because, again, there's too many years where that thing wasn't going our way, so I don't push it going back. But then it's not going well their way.
It's either one or the other with that game.
But well, speaking of another reason that Florida State might not be doing too well, I mean, is this curse of the Beaver a real thing?
It's looking like it.
I told you it was.
And of course, what is the curse of the Beaver?
Curse of the Beaver portal, is anyone who snatched players away from Oregon State. It's kind of like, what's that thing in Mexico where you drink the water? Montezuma's Revenge.
Yeah.
But it's on the field. So, I mean, I feel bad for DJ. I mean, he was good for us at Oregon State, but it was
Seemed like
not
it'd be a good fit down
fun
there.
watching him.
Yeah.
And I want him to succeed.
That one play where he just overthrew a wide open receiver in the corner end zone, that was just.
Yeah. And then another one, Damian Martinez only got, like I said, 65 yards, where his counterparts at Oregon State just got 150 plus.
Yeah.
And, now he's with the passing team. So, I hope he learns how to pass block.
Yeah.
Didn't Cam Ward get like 360 yards or something?
I don't know. Wait, who was that? Oh, Cam Ward.
Cam Ward.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he threw for a ton of yards from Miami. So, but and then even the coach that left y'all. I mean, he moved on to Michigan State.
Oh, Johnson Smith. Yeah, he took his little prized quarterback, Aiden Childs, and he laid a big egg. I mean, Michigan State fans were like, "Oh, yeah, you Oregon State fans were right about the OC coming there and calling all those plays." They were like 4th and 1 on the 10, and they got stuffed last game. I mean, it's like he did that all year to us last year. So, you know what? Good riddance. Heartbreaker. Sorry,
Turn the page.
Sorry for Michigan State fans, but
Yeah, barely beating Florida Atlantic was not what they were expecting from.
yeah,
them,
that's right. FAU.
But and other teams that actually stepped up and did something that impressed me, Vanderbilt. Goodness.
Poor
I say
ACC. I'll tell you, Bernie was right. It's a sham conference.
The sham conference.
Diego Pavia. I mean, stepping up big against Virginia Tech, and I mean, again, I was impressed. I watched the end of that game. They drove him down there and got him in position for that game-winning field goal. When they missed it, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I thought it was going to swing the wrong way, but man, overtime, they did well. He punched it in the end zone, and then their defense stood tall.
Yeah, it's going to be a barometer game down the season, towards the middle of the season, and when we know, well, that was a really good win for Vanderbilt because Virginia Tech is back in the ACC standings towards the top, or vice versa. But I was impressed with their quarterback and what their new offense was able to do because they not only put up the points and put them down, but they kept up with them when Virginia Tech came back.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I guess, yes.
Good for Vandy.
Listen to an interview with Clark Lee or whatever and talking about.
Yeah, and I was ripping on him last weekend. I apologize.
To
anchor down.
all of our Vandy listeners.
Yeah, for all our Vandy listeners. But I mean, yeah, listening to Clark Lee and I mean, talking about bringing in his OC from from New Mexico State. Two of the offensive coaches from there, Kill and I can't remember the other one's name, but they were the ones, and that's where Pavia was before, and he came along with them. So, but yeah,
he's running the same offense. He's pretty comfortable. Then you're right.
Yeah. So I mean, again, that's why it worked well, and it was just, I mean, it's just a different thing. So it was pretty cool seeing that. So, all right, moving on to this coming up weekend, Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. I mean, what do you think is gonna happen in this game?
Who are they playing?
Tennessee Tech.
They're playing Georgia.
Oh, again. One thing for Florida State, they played two good teams, their first two teams. What have you guys done?
We played Clemson.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
We play Ole Miss on the road. Look at your shirt.
Oh, yeah, I just had a dry cleaner. So we'll talk about this in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think we sit a bunch of people. We start our starters and when I put in the show notes, how long does Beck and other starters play? I just don't think it's going to be much past a quarter, if any.
1 quarter?
Yeah, 1 quarter. Because we want to see our backup quarterbacks. We want to see. We've got Gunnar Stockton.
But do you want Beck to have some stats?
The kid that's suing Florida. What's his name? Rashida. For their in-law collective. So we've got some quarterbacks back there who have some talent, and we've seen some Gunnar Stockton. But there and other positions, we want to see what those kids have. So why not start them out before halftime? Is my thinking. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking they might run our starters up till halftime and then empty the bench. Hopefully, I mean they played against Middle Tennessee State and they were a 23-point underdog, but actually took them down to the wire. Middle Tennessee State scored a touchdown in the last minute or 16 seconds to win that game. So,
nail biter.
That was a nail biter, baby. And then who's Oregon State got this weekend, Cord?
At San Diego State. So
down the coast.
Yeah.
So how's that thing going to look? Y'all a favorite in that game?
Actually, if you want to see it, it's on the CW. It's on every household in America.
Every household.
Right after Gilmore Girls.
Goodness.
Or Golden Girls. Which one is it?
I think it's Gilmore.
Man.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I think we got the first half was rough. Last game, they got our identity. They're a run team. They're going to run it right at you, and they were successful against the last team. So we'll see.
Gotcha. All right. Well, how did your tailgate turn out last week, Bernie? Did you go with the wings, or did you have to make a switch at the last minute, or what did you do?
No, we didn't go with the wings. We went with some beefsteak sandwiches, and it was a big hit, I have to say. Even the wife really, really liked them. So, not really sure about this weekend. Haven't decided yet. Wife's out of town, so we got to have figure that out, Friday night when she gets back.
Gotcha.
How we all?
No, it was good. Ended up throwing some. I actually did throw some wings on the smoker. Did those, and then when it decided not to go with the sausage balls, and we went with a shotgun shells. So it was the.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that thing turned out well.
Those look good. When you sent them a text, I was like, "What are those?" And then, yeah.
Yep. No, I mean, again, it's the.
Ford did not bring leftovers.
There weren't any leftovers.
I was about to say we tore that up.
Well,
we tow it up. So I don't know. This weekend, trying to figure out. I don't know with the Golden Eagles, maybe do a beer can chicken or something like that. So
spatchcock it.
Spatchcock. Well, that wouldn't be a beer can, but the spatchcock and a chicken would probably be good too. So. All right. Well, I guess I don't know if you've not been looking at the betting lines yet, Cord. Do you have a lock of the week? I guess not.
No, I wasn't able to do my show prep. I was kind of rushed today, but give me a few minutes.
So I'll go first. I've got it pulled up if you want to look at it. But I'm looking at I think Texas Michigan's the biggest game, but I'm not sure where
Texas
that's going to
kill
go.
them. What's the point? What's the spread?
7.5.
7.5 for Texas. In the
I probably would lean Texas. I would like it less.
Okay,
than
you know what?
touchdown.
In the fourth quarter last
You just said you're
week,
gonna.
it was like a 6-point game.
Who, Texas?
And then the other, no,
Or Michigan?
Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at Fresno State at home.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Fresno State looked tough.
Or is Michigan not that good?
I think it might be both. It's kind of like Oregon and Idaho.
Well, Michigan got a new
whoops.
quarterback. Yeah,
New coach.
kind of new coach. Well, they kept their adopted coach, right?
Yeah,
So,
but how many people they lose to the NFL?
A ton.
Yeah.
Well, my lock of the week, and I went 3-2 last week. Thanks, I'm not 4-1. Thanks to Brian Kelly.
Oh, jeez.
He's just so bad.
Man, did they
Dude, that
shit
quarterback
the bed.
at Southern Cal.
God, they sucked. I mean, that's just a bad. Anyway, I'm moving
And they
on.
lost their running back today, too.
Yeah. So I'm going with Kentucky over South Carolina. Kentucky minus 10. I don't think South Carolina has much. That this is an early SEC matchup. I'm really interested in to see how good they are. We do go to Kentucky after Tennessee Tech, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the week after. So that'll be a first road trip. So that's definitely a game I'm keeping an eye on, and I do feel like Kentucky will cover.
Yeah.
They have some new people too, but Mark Stoops always has good, solid interior linemen, good defensive line. Brock Vandergriff. They had a good game Saturday. It's cut short, I think, 3+ quarters, but they were hanging some numbers on some sisters married the poor. I forget who.
Yes.
Anyway, that's my lock of the week.
Wait, who does Georgia have?
Georgia,
Since they're not on there.
it's not on the board. It's not on the board.
It's not on the
Tennessee
board.
Tech.
Vegas said no.
Okay, okay. Middle Tennessee State. I mean, geez, how many middle schools do they have in Tennessee?
not
That's
Middle
your lock
Tennessee.
right there. 41.5 points.
He's going with Ole Miss.
No,
Dude, that's a super lock. I would double down. I would bet the Buick and the Ford.
Both of them.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to
41.5 points. That's going to be halftime.
Did you win your lock of the week last week?
What was it?
I don't know. You bet the Buick though. So
No,
you better make sure it's in the driveway.
his lock of the week was Georgia.
Okay, yeah. So you
I
won.
won that one, but
All right, Emma.
Boise State killed me
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
2 points.
My lock of the week, I think I'm going to go to a neutral site game up in Charlotte with Tennessee traveling in there to play against NC State.
Oh, good one.
I'm about to say they're, I don't know how to pronounce their new quarterback's name yet, according to SEC
Oh, yeah.
Shorts.
That's got the best name in football.
Is it an I or is it an L?
I don't know. But like, if you watch that SEC Shorts that
It's
just came out
AU.
at the beginning, it's like we're gonna learn his name before the end of the season, but we'll see. But I think that Tennessee is gonna go in there and more than cover the 8 points they've got to lay against NC State, another ACC team. But I think they'll be able to go in there and get it done with that passing attack under Heupel. So
Yeah,
but that's
a good one because that's not an offense. That's not an offense that a lot of people see a lot, and Georgia has seen it, and SEC teams have seen it. But NC State's going to be a big test for them.
Yep. But anyway, all right. Well, hopefully we make it through this week for Georgia unscathed and keep everybody healthy. But anyway, we'll hopefully be able to come back to you again next week. Maybe Cord will be, who knows where he's going to be. He might be at my house next week. Or
Might be in Norcross.
He could be up in here in Norcross, or
I might be in the Winnebago, cooking
He might still be in the driveway.
with my Starlink.
But anyway, thank you for any of you who stuck it here with us. Gabby has been following us on the
Thanks,
chat.
Gabby.
Yeah, hey. All right. But anyway, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Hit that red button and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
If you don't like it, hit it twice.
All right.